tradition. We're in 80 countries around the world. And part of the tradition is we believe the education takes as much as the education takes place outside the classroom as it does inside the classroom. And I was happy to hear these students themselves talk about the experience of learning outside the classroom as well as inside the classroom, because that's a mark of our educational vision in the 80 countries where we are today.
Are there other service experiences that you guys have?
Yeah, so the university sponsored a couple of students. Well, they sponsor different Lasallian activities every summer to kind of increase our Lasallian tradition here, specifically at our university. And one of those programs is they sent us to a couple of students, myself included, to our University of St. Mary's out in San Francisco, or in Moraga, California, which is another Lasallian university. And there was college students there from all 6 Lasallian universities in the U.S. And we kind of shared our experiences, learned from that, learned of ways that we can kind of, again, take learning outside the classroom and kind of make even more connections to the brothers and what that Lasallian tradition is and means to them, and really develop it for ourselves. And so we came back and we started thinking of ways that we can do that here. And so we started the organization Lasallian Collegians, which is by nature everyone by attending a Lasallian institution is a Lasallian collegian. And really did different, not only service-oriented activities, but also activities geared towards familiarizing ourselves with what it means to be Lasallian and the brothers themselves, and really learning from their experiences and hearing their stories, and really just learning more about what it means to be Lasallian. So it was really great.
I'm involved in a program called Brothers Keepers from the honors program. And it gives an opportunity for students in this program to serve on different board of directors for different nonprofits in Memphis. And so I serve on the board for Paige Robbins Adult Day Center. And I have experience, both of my grandfathers passed away from Alzheimer's, so it kind of gave me a chance to give back to that cause that personally affected me, and see my work day to day, and go by and volunteer as well as be an active board member as a student, and so that's a really cool opportunity.
What do you guys want to see change in the world today as you are going out into the world on your own? Well, you already kind of are on your own in college, I guess.
It's a big question.
Very independent so far.
Big question.
Well, I just thought I was saying, so myself and JB, we just recently finished our food and spirituality class, and we talked about different issues with food, whether it's distribution, how it's grown, how like the farmers, things like that dealing with food, the food industry. And so one of the things that I would want to change in the world would just be how we treat our farmers and the income that they get, and how the government officials oversee their work and control what they do and manipulate their work, and let them do it naturally instead of trying to control nature, because of that we have gotten a lot of disease and catastrophes from trying to control nature and just not letting things happen on their own. So that would be, one thing I would change.
Yeah, just to build off that point, I'm totally glad you brought that up. It's spirituality and ethics of eating, or food, I guess. I guess that's the exact title. So you also learn about the spiritual aspect and about like why people eat what they do based on their religious practices and things like that. But one thing that we always hit on, it's always comes back to, is like we automatically assume, that this planet is ours to destroy, and it's like we just go through all these wasteful things. It's like part of me just wants, I'm going to medical school and going to the Air Force, but like part of me is just like, I just want to be a farmer. Like I just want to go out there and like eat do what people originally did, not all the same. And it's like people get away from that. They get away from they never even know what a farm looks like other than what's on like a package, So it's like, I don't know, we automatically assume the planet's ours to destroy, not our planet to love and to treat with care. And I think that's a big thing that CBU does here, because we're in such a great location with being in Midtown and and looking at community supported agriculture and having our own garden for the students to grow, and looking looking at the food pantry and getting a food pantry here on campus. Those are huge things that CBU is able to do because one, we're service oriented, and two, the mission of the brothers and being Lasallian, coming back to all of that. So that's a big thing that I wish we did more of. I guess I want to.
I think if there's something that I would like to change is the inequality. Yeah, I would like everybody to have the same chance, because there's some people already who got something and the other people who doesn't have anything. And those people who doesn't have anything, they don't know how to start. But if people can have the same equality, that would be good.
What are some things that you think could be done to help improve that?
The simple thing like education. Yeah.
What about you, Lauren?
For me, I would say understanding overall, being more knowledgeable about things that are going on in your community, being more knowledgeable about ethical issues that are happening in political worlds, and kind of being active and learning. And it's kind of our duty as young adults, especially as Lasallians, to know what's going on, know where the wrong is, and know how, start learning how we can be a part of the solution. And so I think that's one of the things that I really wanted to focus on. And as I'm graduating and as I'm going out into the real world, and it's just start reading, start learning. And that's, CBU was a stepping stool for all of us. It's a chance for us to learn how to learn. That's really what CBU is, and that's what college is in general, but CBU is, I think, the best. I'm a little biased, but I think it's the best. And it's given us this opportunity to learn so much when we get out in the world, and have that base from Lasallian, from the core principles, and just learn about all the things that are going on in the world.
For me, I'll tell you what, I've probably been to close to 40 countries where we have our schools. I'll be 80 so far. My experience is that people around the world are more similar than dissimilar. People around the world, Ron was just saying, have the same hopes, the same dreams for their families. We don't see that on our news media. What I experience globally when I go around and what I hear on our news, I find great dissonance. That we are, as they need to say, it's only one planet. We're all part of the human family. Everybody just wants to raise their own family, do and live their own lives, have adequate resources to raise a family. And I'd like to see our media portray a more accurate picture of the world we live in.
Where do you see the media inaccurately portraying our world?
Well, first, a lack of knowledge. Most people in our media are not on the ground in various countries of the world to understand what's happening. And if you only speak to people who speak English in those foreign countries, you're not really getting an understanding of what the majority of people are living. And for me, I see that resulting in a lot of misunderstanding. So just having the language base to engage in a conversation that goes below the social level, that superficial level, is important. I mean, we have one news channel here in the U.S. that has breaking news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Is breaking news really happening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And if it is, then what's breaking news? So if our media could get a little bit below the surface when they're doing a story or researching a story, I think that could be very beneficial for all of us.
Besides the media, what would you like to see change in our
Well, you know, as Ronald's saying, and in our experience, we work in the world of education. You know, we've done that for 335 years. And people given a chance at education can make a difference. I mean, right now you have so many people from Africa, you know, getting on those boats, crossing the Mediterranean, looking for a better life. If the governments can provide them a quality education, I don't think they'd be all rushing to other parts of the world. And we didn't engage in some of the brain drain of taking some of the best from those countries and bringing them to Europe and the United States and impoverishing those countries even more so. You know, so I think an education can make a difference. Is making a difference when it's allowed to happen.
And you'll be giving a homily at the graduation?
I've been asked to give a few remarks.
Not more than a half an hour.
The university is honoring, I think, our worldwide mission by giving me an honorary doctorate tomorrow as the Superior General of our institute. And I accept it on behalf of what is happening in those 1,000 schools and universities we have around the world. Because they're the ones who are doing the work. I just travel around.
And when you plan to speak, what is your message?
Actually, some of the things I've talked about just now. Also, speaking a little bit about my most recent experience. Last week I was in Lebanon near the border with Syria and Lebanon. And we're looking at, with other teaching congregations of brothers, to establish some non-formal educational centers for the current refugees in that part of the world. Lebanon, for example, is a country of 4 million people. We've had schools there since the mid-19th century. But of the 4 million people living in Lebanon, right now they're coping with 1.5 million refugees. So they're being overwhelmed by that reality. So we're looking at establishing some non-formal education centers for the many thousands upon thousands of children there who are not in school at all. Will 1 or 2 educational centers make a difference? Who knows? But it's a start. It's a start.
What did you see there?
Well, I visited a possible site for a non-formal education center. Unlike Jordan, where refugees are in various camps, that's not the case in Lebanon. They don't have camps for people, so the population of the refugees coming into Lebanon are all over the country, and Lebanon is a small country. So it's not that they're in a particular location, they're spread around. So we went and visited one possible site in collaboration with some other organizations, such as Caritas. It's a nonprofit Catholic organization, Caritas. And then the Jesuit priests, Catholic order of priests, they have a refugee center. And so we're looking at them in terms of collaborating with other groups in terms of offering some kind of educational program.